Not quite. Yeah, maybe like Chicago. Oh, see, well.
Simulation complete.
All bad.
Good luck.
Alright, last ball.
Set coordinates to the Alpha Quadrant. Alpha Quadrant. Set coordinates for the Beta Quadrant.
I'm a terrible pinball player tonight. Come on, see? Knew it. I'm a joke. No audio yet. Your stream is live, huh? Really?
I believe you want to continue.
Yep, there it is.
Captain's log supplemental. While we have made significant discoveries, we must realize it is only the beginning.
Oh, nice, man. You looks professional. Wow. Looks really good. Yeah, you just gotta get your brightness. Yeah, whatever that is. Oh, that's just a light glare right there. Wow, it's a beautiful machine. Damn. Looks like you'll figure it out. Oh, the computer's lagging? Okay. Yeah, I think I see that with the lights. Uh-huh. Nice setup. You got the PlayStation on. Pinbots. Yeah, you got all the graphics down too. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Even the most recent follower stuff. No clue how to do it. Any of that snazzy stuff. It's awesome. Reflection from the studio light. Oh, you're making it nicer now. Okay. There you go. You fixed it. Yeah, I need to figure all that stuff out, you know. But I just got the basics figured out. Cool deal, buddy. Super nice. You got the perfect camera right where it should be, right in the middle. Mine's a little bit too close to the flippers, but yeah, when you have it closer to the middle, everything is will get zoomed in correctly. Everything will be on focus, you know. No. Yeah, it looks a lot better now. This machine seems like it'd be a hard machine to stream. It's so bright, man. It's got a lot going on. Those colors are intense. All right, I'll be in your chat. I don't know how to host you. Let's see. How do you host someone? I forgot. / what is it? Let's see if I can host you. How the heck do you do it? Boom, boom, boom. Maybe I didn't do it correctly. Huh. Click on your name. There's no options for that. I think you have to type something in like that. Host slash. Thought that was it. Maybe audio here in a minute. Oh, nice. I think I hear you. Yeah, you're on. Yeah, I hear your mouse clicks. You sound good. Well. Maybe I didn't do it correctly. Yeah, I think you're good. I did hear a hiccup though in the audio, I believe. Audio here in a minute. Oh, nice. All right, I'll be in your stream. I'll help you with the stuff. All right, everybody. Cheers. Have a good one. All right, everybody. Cheers. Have a good one. All right, everybody. Cheers. Have a good one.
Got cables everywhere. Alright, so I don't know if it's actually, if the mic's coming through off of my little DMD cam. That's the mic that's set up, and now I gotta figure out how I can view the chat here. Alright, so I don't know if it's actually. Alright, I hear myself now in the delay. Alright. Well, I'm gonna play, let's see what happens. Alright, hold on. I just recently put some new parts in this and started tweaking it, but it's got a little bit more to go. There's a couple switches on the ramp that aren't working properly. Okay. So at some point, when I get more extensions, I think I can move this wide cam right above the playfield so it's got a better shot of the flippers. My computer is essentially in a completely different room, so I'm dragging extension cables into the front right here to all this stuff. There we go. How's the frame rate? Oh, it almost got stuck. I can't tell. I have my iPhone set up here, but I can't really see it very well. Nice. Pretty much everything is default. I haven't really adjusted any of the cameras yet. I turned the autofocus off, but the lighting I haven't really messed with enough. And I know there's a ton of glare coming off the back glass. Got one locked off. The worst thing here is to get the solar value. My switches aren't working on my wrench. So even when I get that set up and I hit up here, maybe one out of 5 or 6 times it'll actually register. And it stopped doing that once I took everything apart to adjust some of the lights. So some of these streams I'm actually going to be doing some repair. So I've got a lot of repair to work on and upgrades. And the next one I'm working on is Genesis. try to adjust the. Let's see if we can shut this off. Still bright. Alright, so I'm trying without my big overhead light on. We'll see if that does any difference. Higher contrast for sure. I don't know if you can actually see the ball very well though. Yeah, I haven't played a jackpot. I know they're pretty similar. It's a little more advanced than pinball, but otherwise the layout's pretty similar. But this is always one of my favorite games as a kid. It's one that I remember the music from, and actually being really terrible as a kid at pinball in general. So that's Carmelicious. Thanks for watching. This is my very first stream, and literally we're just minutes into it. Oh. So it's going to get better as we go forward. I got to figure out how to tweak these cameras and adjust the lighting, but it's pretty much Amazon delivered today, and I hooked it all up, and we're going with what we got. I'm going to turn the main light back on. I think that looks better for the play field. Play one more game. So if you can tell, the vortex ramp up here, even with the full plunge, it doesn't get quite all the way to the top. And I think part of that is that I got some of I replaced the rubber on the side up here in the pops, and I think the ball is getting caught there, or something's stopping the momentum from getting all the way up that ramp. So there's a few tweaks to do on this one, but looking pretty good so far. And I'm terrible at nudging. That's something that, as long as I've been playing pinball, I'm really bad at it. So I'll get better as it goes, but I drain down the side, especially on this table, the outlanes are opened up pretty wide, and it drains really quick. Oh, let's get it up there. There we go. Oh, hey, cat. I have a cat that's playing with the tripod. If he's not the center of attention, he figures out how to become the center of attention. Hey, get out of there. There we go. Yeah, he actually looks just like that little emoticon. He's black and white. If I'm lucky, he won't jump up on the playfield while we're playing, but he might be bumping the camera. So there we go. He went around the upper ramp there, and the switches are not working. So I'm not going to get credit for my jackpot shot. For the solar value. got my other ball locked behind. Nope. Not quite. Bad shot. So my little ramp protector on the left side is also kind of tweaked, so it takes a really strong shot to get all the way up there. But like that one, it should have gone through and given me solar value. But I got to tweak the switches, otherwise I'm never going to score well on this game. There we go. That's the light extra ball. So now on my outlays, I've got extra ball. There it is. I always forget there's a center pin in there too, and I tend to forget about that. It bounces right out and hits the bottom of the flipper. All right, but I got my extra ball because I completed the drop targets again for the drop range. Whoa, go. There we go. Next one. 2 extras. Yeah, that was the knocker that's in the back glass. It's actually in the head on this one. And because I'm using the microphone right off my little DMD cam there, it was probably really loud. There we go. Green shot there, and say completed 1 planet. And so you do get a special if you make your planets all the way back to Jupiter here. Here we go. So the beeping sound there is the timer to hit the solar value. Of course, I would have hit it there if my switches worked. Yeah, I see the light on my blue mic. It's actually on, but it wasn't registered in the system when I went to select which was the primary mic. So after this ball, or after, yeah, this is the 3rd ball, but once I'm done here, I'm going to go check that mic setting again. The shot to advance the planet over here is really difficult, even off the left flipper. It's got to be almost to the point where it's, right off the tip of the flipper there. Ah, too little. Alright, extra ball. Oh. Nice. So I just got another green. My score. Goes quick. That's extra. And you can hear it was silent there for some reason on a few games. After plunging the ball, the music stops until it hits the target. So I've heard that's fairly common on Pinbot. Brutal. That was actually one of my highest scores on here, and that was just kind of messing around. It would have been way better if my switches worked. Alright, I'm going to go try to set up this microphone properly. Come on, kitty. I literally have cables draped all over the place just to get back and forth over here. Alright, let me try to fix this. Alright, there's a lot of delay on my little phone view, but it looks like that mic is not going to work for some reason. I'll have to mess with it later. I was trying to set up my TV here on the wall to display the stream so I could see the chat a little bit easier, but I think I'm just going to have to stick with the phone for now. The Twitch app is not installed on my Blu-ray player, so I may have to switch to a different device. The bonus value under the RAM quite much. So usually I can backhand that shot underneath the RAM. There it goes. Yeah, pin butt, that's me. I don't know how much I like that wide angle camera, but that's about as long as my USB cable will get. Eventually, that main camera, so pointing from this angle, I want to have it mounted like right up over the playfield, so it's a little easier to see the flipper area. I think that's a little bit more fun to watch than a side view of me. Alright, let's play another game. So with that very first shot, first time you hit one of the target banks at the top, when it's going through and putting rows of lights, when you hit just the road, it opens up automatically. Otherwise, you have to go and fill in the entire grid. So I'm kind of stuck filling the grid in right now. And at least I think I just have it on the default on medium settings, and so every every time you hit one of the targets, either along the bank or on the side here, you actually get 2 lights for each hit until you've actually opened it once. So the second time, then it would just be a single light. Yeah, exactly. Don't miss the first shot. It helps considerably. There's actually a lot of spots in this game that you can bank shots off of. And I almost never go for these side shots, but I've actually figured out ways to bank on the drop targets over here from the left flipper to bounce it off of this post and hit the drops over there. And because the shot to actually progress the planets is so difficult, oftentimes I find it's easier to drop all these 3 drop targets. So part of the rule is if you get all 3 down within the time limit, which I think is 15 seconds, it'll advance the planet. So I got 1 more left. Whoops, shoot. Missed it. Almost saved it. There, that was. Yeah, sometimes you can time it as it's rolling back off that left flipper, and you can just slide right across all 3 of those drops. Oh, I could have saved that. That center post, I tend to end up flipping up and pop it right back down as it would have bounced on the top. I would have been patient. In terms of strategy on this game, I still haven't quite determined the best course of action or the order to go to get the highest points. So I kind of work towards whatever seems right at the time. I almost really never focus on moving the planets, but I guess that's probably a good thing. I would guess the best scoring option is, of course, during your 2-ball multi-ball to hit the solar value, but my switches aren't active, so I don't get points for it. The value under the ramp, the score bonus here, it actually accumulates over the games, and so you do get a higher bonus, but I hit it frequent enough that it's never that great. Yeah, with that center post, if I remember it, you can give it a little bit of a nudge forward to bounce it back up to hit the flippers, but oftentimes I forget, and then I end up flipping and screwing it up. Alright, let's try one. I'm going to try to give it a full plunge and see if I can even get it up to the center there. No. It hits friction right at the entry point there, and if it's not, like the plunger itself, if it's not hitting it perfectly on the center of the ball, it doesn't work. There we go, hit the green on the first shot, so that's going to open the target bank. And I went down the side. This is one of few games that you can actually drain all 3 balls down the out lanes without ever getting an opportunity to flip. So that's where I need to get better at nudging. Oh, there we go. And that was essentially a full plunge just to get it there. So I actually bought a new flipper rod and springs and a whole bunch of stuff to fix that. So at some point I'm going to replace the entire flipper or the entire plunger and see if that fixes the issue with that. know what the score would have been, but I would have got it. Dancing planets, well. There we go. Center post assist. That should do it to Jupiter. Maybe not, I think that was Saturn. Alright, so if I hit the advanced planet up here, that's going to give me Jupiter, which will give me a special ability, which is simply a pretty great layup. I think it says free protection ball. Oh, there it goes on now. There it was, yep. Replay. Light extra balls up there. That helps considerably on the outcomes. Missed it. Nice. A big double multiplayer. No. Ah. That was ball 3. Not bad, over. So I really have to fix these switches on my ramps up here because there's a ton of points that I miss out whenever I hit that. Not terrible though. Oh, we got Woof Woof. I wasn't paying that close attention down here, sorry. Oh yeah, Pacific Pinball Museum. I'm actually in Oregon, so that's just, I believe that's the Seattle one, isn't it? Yeah, one-handed on this game is very difficult. It's hard enough with 2 hands. Yeah, okay, so I see Carmelicious is talking about the Pinball Museum in Seattle. I haven't been up there yet. I definitely want to go up there and check it out. We've got, of course, lots of arcades around here in Oregon, and it's great. I mean, the Pacific Northwest is like a hotspot for pinball, which is fantastic. Oh wow, yeah, 3.5 million solar value. That'd be awesome. Yeah, ground control is pretty good. I don't get there very often. I pretty much go to the Coin Jam here in Salem. And of course, over at the coast, we have the Game Over and the Level Up down in Eugene. And so those are the main ones I frequent. But especially Coin Jam in Salem, that's a great place. Yeah, Arcade Expos this weekend. I miss out on some of those, but we have the Portland Retro Gamers Expo, so I always donate my games and pinball machines up there, and that's always a fun weekend. Mostly focused on console collecting, and I do that too. I got into that quite a bit this year. I spent more than I anticipated, but it was fun having my games out there. And actually, I've got WWF Royal Rumble, which a lot of people don't like because it's pro wrestling, but it's a lot of fun. I've done tons of upgrades, so that, of course, will be one of the featured ones on this channel once I get around to rearranging all of the games in here. on this main stream, you can probably see the corner of the WrestleMania Pro, or the limited edition. And so, of course, it's the Main Event Arcade. It's all based around pro wrestling, video games, and pinball, but I've got others. It won't always be pro wrestling oriented. You know, there's not a lot of people that are into that yet. We'll see. Most people like me are fans of the old classic wrestling, not current wrestling, so we'll see how that goes. All right, let's start another game. Alright, I'm gonna wait for the lines in the upper level there. This behind it. What I should have done there was hit the top one on this bank. I could have got both of those in one shot. But let's see here. Alright, let's see if I can backhand it. Nope. Well, alright, unlocked. Oh, that was really bad. Wasn't paying attention. Alright, thanks Bufu for sticking around here for a little bit. This is my very first stream on Twitch. So it's not perfect, but it'll get better. Unlike that ball, that was terrible. Oh yeah, so Carmelicious, you participated in the WrestleMania tournament. My best I've ever got on this one was 133 million, and every other game is at best like 40 or 50 million. It's ridiculous. You have to really just grind out points on this with the code as it is. Of course, whenever the new code comes out, that's going to be the first thing I feature on this channel is showing off this game because there's not a lot of love for it. And I mean, understandably, it's got issues, but I had to have it. And actually, that was my first new box game ever. And still a little ridiculous on the price because I keep thinking about, you know, for the price of that game, how many great classic Williams games I could have that, you know, I would be actually enjoying. Whoa, good glass. But I have confidence that they're going to fix it and it's going to be good. If the rumors of Lyman being on the code team or taking over, if those are true, then I should end up with a pretty decent game at the end of the day. Of course, I keep thinking like, man, I love Metallica and I want a Metallica. I could actually have that and actually be playing and enjoying it instead of just looking at a pretty gold limited edition WrestleMania. It's got Hulk Hogan's autograph on it. Terrible. Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever streamed it. Yeah, I gotta fix this mic issue too. That's way too loud for that. Especially the glass hit. Actually, when we get to Genesis, I have Gottlieb's Genesis, and that's one that's ready for an upgrade. It needs to be shopped, and I got new ramps. I got a whole bunch of new LEDs that I'm going to test out and put in there. But it's a great game. It's a lot of fun, especially these days. There's been a couple videos out there. Todd Tuckey featured one a while back that looks so good, and now with new ramps available, a ton of people are starting to get interested in it again. So that'll be a fun one to stream. And a lot of my games are just kind of, they're not like super popular games, so I think it'll be fun to have a little variants than all the standard ones that everybody shows all the time. I've got Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm actually doing quite a few mods and repairs. I'm getting that one ready. And I've got Firepower 1 and 2 and Day East Batman. So, of course, my username, David Batman, is based on my love of Batman. And eventually, through the stream, I'll show off a lot of my other retro arcade stuff and movie collectibles. They'll show up in the background. Right now, this is just a mess because I'm just throwing stuff together. But it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. There's been a lot of great people that have helped me out with the stream. And, of course, Tent Spence on there helping me out tonight. Really appreciate it. And, of course, Polly B. Got to give a shout out to him. He really got me into this earlier this week. Gave me a great list of equipment to buy and kind of got me on the right track. Yeah, a friend of mine actually had Sopranos, and it was pretty cool, but it was a game that he just really didn't get into playing very much. And I actually have never watched the show. All this time, I've never watched a single episode. Progression. Yeah, the one time I played the game, I thought the animated stripper pole was pretty intuitive or ingenious to add in there for that Sopranos game. That was pretty cool. Yeah, one of the games I've been looking for a long time is Funhouse. Oop, and we've got quite a few of them in the area, but nobody wants to sell. That's one that it's always eluded me, but someday I'll get one. And of course, same with Bride of Pinbot. Bride of Pinbot is one of my all-time favorites. And so Pinbot was a great alternative to have, and I love this game. Bride of Pinbot's my favorite. There was a stream a couple nights ago. A couple had just purchased their very first pinball, and they were regular streamers there on Twitch. And they were setting up the Bride of Pinbot in the living room, and just kind of like I did here, just threw my cameras on. And was starting to play, but it was really fun to watch people who had never owned a pinball machine, you know, start playing one in their house and how excited they were. It was a lot of fun. Whoops. I'm trying to remember the name of the channel that was streaming it. I think it was Steffi Pie. Not doing so good. I'm not paying close attention to this game now. That's the worst when there's no momentum and it just sits right there. Yeah, actually, I played the Stern Batman, and I was not quite impressed with it, but the one I played was in really bad condition. It was at a Wonderland, the 5 Cent Gaming, and I was just amazed that they actually had a pinball machine, and so it was no wonder it was in bad shape. But I played it on it for a long time. And unfortunately, the flippers weren't powerful enough to actually get the ball up the Batmobile ramp, so most of the game was off limits just due to the mechanical failure. But I guess in the right hands, it could be maintained well, and it was probably pretty fun. One thing I really didn't like, and of course, you can see some of my collectible crap around here, you know, I love Batman, and that game used all the cheapest Batman action figures just off the store shelf. So that was kind of in, you know, the days where Stern was, you know, not quite where they are now. And I didn't care for the art style on it. But I mean, they were limited by what the studio provided. So a lot of that was the same thing you see on like party plates at the party store. You know, it was the approved Batman artwork that they had to use. But I really disliked the Joker figure that they used. It was like the really cheesy one because the original Joker figure that was released was too scary for kids. So they took it out of stores and they replaced it with a little cartoony looking one that ended up in that pinball machine. Little action figure collector nerd trivia. Oh yeah, the Batman Forever pin. I've only played it a few times, but it's actually kind of cool considering that was not a great movie. It's still better than the one with Arnold, the Batman and Robin. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Michael Keaton Batman, and not so much the others. But as a kid, I remember watching when Batman Forever came out. I loved it because I was a huge Jim Carrey fan at the time. So him being in it and the fact that it was Batman was all it took. And going back and watching it, I don't think it holds up as well for me. Even though Tommy Lee did a great job with what he had. And, I mean, there's things to like about it for sure. The pin is pretty cool though, and usually it's fairly affordable for considering what you get. The biggest fear I hear is that the DMD, because it's that larger DMD, is really expensive to replace if you have to. But I guess the same is true with my 89 Day East Batman. I use the smaller DMD, which again is because it's not the common size. If you find a new one, they're pretty expensive. So thankfully, with all the problems my Batman game had, the DMD was in good shape. But yeah, that game I definitely overpaid for. It was in really rough condition, which I knew going into it. And it was one of those things where I wanted the game, and I kind of paid my I don't know what you call it, my tax for wanting a game that I probably should have passed on, but I wanted it that bad. And I put hundreds of dollars into it to get it back up and running, and I still have issues with it. So that'll be one that will probably end up here on the stream when I'm working on it. And of course, when it's done, we'll actually put a lot of gameplay into it, because that one's pretty rare to be streamed too. So I see you mentioned 3D printing. I have talked to some people that are doing 3D printed mods, and so I'm kind of interested in that. I actually do some clay sculpture, silicone molding and casting, so I've been working on some replica parts for the Freddy pinball, and so I'm looking into doing that, and I know some of the 3D printing could work out really well because you can actually design where it mounts in place. It works a lot easier that way, but yeah, at least these days I do a lot of that stuff by hand. So I do have a new Freddy head and some mods for Freddy in the works. But yeah, there's some cool 3D printing ideas that I have out there, and I know that I think it's Mesomods or Mesomods. They've done some really incredible stuff. They actually have a ladder that I think would be really cool on WrestleMania to replace the plastic ladder. So I'm looking into doing something similar to that. That game actually has a lot of great opportunity for modding. Just like the classic WWF Royal Rumble, mainly because there's so many action figures that are available. But at least with Royal Rumble, the old classic, Hasbro wrestling figures have a cartoon style that fits perfectly with the artwork on that game. So they actually don't look out of place like some off-the-shelf toys look really out of place, just like the Batman thing. Oh man, should help it. I noticed on my pinball here, the target bank normally is supposed to lower one time and open, and usually it lowers, closes, and lowers, and then it stops. So I don't know if that's a switch setting that I have to adjust. It's kind of annoying because I have to usually cradle the ball and wait for it to open if I want to hit those. Yeah, the original Freddy heads on the Nightmare on Elm Street pinball, there's two 89 flashes inside, and the head itself like sits right on them. So the heat that's generated, mine is completely melted and blackened inside. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if people actually had those melt or catch fire while playing. So the new ones that I'm producing are actually going to be urethane resin, which should be able to hold the temperature a little bit better. But the fact that people are putting LEDs in everything these days, there's almost no temperature to worry about there. Oh yeah, there's the delay is because I'm actually just streaming on my phone, so it's delaying quite a bit. Plus I'm not looking at the chat as often as I probably should. What I need to do, a lot of people will set up a laptop for streaming, so it's like right next to them, and then the cameras are in real time and everything. Mine is about 30 feet away in the other room. Yeah, Kay Paulson, thanks for joining. Yeah, the head itself is like right up here in the playfield, and it has a movable up kicker in the jaw, so it spits balls out, and it kind of simulates talking. The jaw kind of flickers on there. But yeah, it has two flashers that are right inside behind. There's like little orange plastic tubes that make it look like his eyes light up, and those flashers get so hot that it can truly just melt that plastic. And the original stuff, I think what they used was like a fiberglass, so it should be, I don't know, it's really brittle and kind of weird. But yeah, I've got a lot of work to do on that machine. It's in pretty good shape. That was my very first pinball machine I ever got, and so I put a lot of effort into it. But there's always common plastics that break on that, and I actually just got a replacement boiler room, which are pretty rare to find. But the glove flipper itself is all busted, so that'll be featured someday. The main thing right now is my front room is packed with. I've got all my pinball machines in here. I've got a full Road Blasters cockpit, a hard drive and upright right behind Pinbot. And I've got Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and WrestleMania. And it's ridiculous. I have about 50 arcade games throughout the house. Some of them projects that don't work. I've probably got about 30 or 35 that are in working condition. So this channel will also include retro arcade machines as well. A lot of it just depends on, a lot of it depends on the where I can locate the cameras and the equipment. And if I get a laptop, then I can be more mobile and move around the house a little bit. And I missed the little alert, but thanks for the follow, Kate Paulson. There's supposed to be little alert sound effects that come with those animated alerts. And for some reason, they stopped working last night when I was testing it out. So I don't know if they actually came through or not. I may have to adjust that. Oh, there's the music problem. Terrible game. So look at that. So I got 109,000 on starting going to the third ball. Ridiculous. see the LED in my pop bumper down there is loose in the socket. Keeps flickering. Yeah, I can see it wiggling in there. So that'll be something to fix next time I open this up. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I was going to say one of the advantages on this game is if you suck really bad on the first 2 balls, it gives you the extra ball lit for third, which is kind of a nice thing. I wonder if that would have worked if it would have triggered on that drain ball, if that would have given me the extra. Probably not. Yeah, no wife and kids, just the cat. There's no way this would work with a wife and kids in here. I have friends over that bring their kids, and even then it's a little cramped because they're just too much. I actually got a storage unit to move a lot of the stuff out because I've got to rearrange the house and kind of repair a few things, and I've got projects that are taking up room. So, yeah, it's just me and the games and the cat. Cool. Yeah, there should be a welcome message. I put all sorts of little alerts built in that are all sort of wrestling related. So when you follow it, picks a random Macho Man follow message. I think I put 3 of them in there. Yeah, before all my camera equipment showed up, I spent a lot of time last night just messing around. Messing around with the layout program and doing some graphic design. So hopefully, I don't know if having the moving spotlights in the background, if that actually causes issues with streaming or not. I can't even tell if the frame rate's decent, but it looks like the ball is visible for the most part. It's actually like 1 o'clock or something. Oh yeah, it's almost 2 a.m. I can feel I'm getting tired now. Well, we'll keep playing a little bit longer. Wow, that actually got back on the ramp. Jeez. Yeah, I love Elvira. Scared Stiff is awesome. And even Party Animal or Party Monsters, that's a pretty good one. A little older, but I still like it. But yeah, Scared Stiff is one of my favorites. Yeah, the hymen's broken. Welcome to Twitch. Thanks. Yeah, no, this is good. I'm glad I was able to get at least the stream going, even if it's going to be fairly short tonight. Tomorrow I'll probably spend more time arranging and getting my cables instead of having them draped everywhere like they are now. Maybe move the game closer. I have another computer I could set up in here and maybe have that working and get it up on the big screen or something. And I've got a couple other lights that I might play around with just to see if I can get the glare off and make it work a little bit better. Yeah, the glass hits the ball right off of the plastic's missing here, like on a lot of pinbots. The plastic piece, it has a little thin strip that covers up over here, and it's attached to a big piece that goes underneath the whole ramp, and it's kind of ridiculous, but that's commonly broken. So what's happening is it's hitting that rubber and just flying right up to the glass. And so I think I'm going to have to create a temporary plastic or something for it. The glass hits are really annoying. That's actually what's happening on the Genesis pin as well. The ramps on that are fairly old, so the new ramp should stop it, but it's got the little cliffy protector, the ramp flap on there, and some of the screws are coming loose, so it's making a ramp that fires it right into the glass. So I'm amazed that glass hasn't broken as many times as it's been hit. But hopefully by then I'll have the better microphone working and you won't be using this cheap little mic right up on the screen here. Yeah, Scared Stiff I think is, of course it's newer, so it's a lot better in terms of overall production quality, but the gameplay I think is a lot better too. The callouts are great, the art style, I mean everything about that game is awesome. try to one-shot this open. Nice. Yeah, I think some of those glass hits also. I put they're the Super Band urethane rubber. Actually, two of them might be cookies. I think the bumpers on the front are those, urethane rubber silicone bumpers, and they actually have quite a bit of bounce to them. Whoa, yeah, there it was again. Yeah, that actually came off the center bumper. That's what caused that one. Wow, 2 shots right in the same line. Alright, I'm gonna go for the solar value on that. Not that it would help since my switches aren't working, but let's try it again. Every once in a while the switch will work. Can't get her to the right flipper. Of course, right after the timer runs out, but it didn't register anyway, so I gotta fix that. Yeah, I gotta get this mic fixed. I can't. That's gotta be ridiculously loud when it hits the glass there. Whoa. That one actually flew up off the target bank. Yeah, there's super bands, those post bumpers up there, those are the super bands. For my flippers, these ones are actually the Pinball Life silicone flippers, and then everything else is just standard white rubber. Actually, on Firepower, I just did a pretty big restoration on the original Firepower, and I used all of the Titan silicone rubber, and I really like that. It bounces exactly like standard rubber, but it has really good longevity, and you can get any color. The color doesn't affect the bounce, whereas like white, there's way more bounce than black. And so I like having the option of using different colors with the silicone. And these silicone flippers are great. I took off the super bands I had on one of the other pinball machines and switched them out, and I like it a lot better. The super bands are almost too grippy. You can feel it when the ball rolls down the lane. It actually slows down, especially when they're brand new and clean. After they get a little dusty, it kind of plays a little better. But dang, it didn't actually hit it. Oh, you know what? I bet if the mic sounds like it's really far away, I bet it's actually on this camera in the back. I switched it. I thought I was selecting the one right above, but it could be this one. I don't know. They're both labeled the same thing, so I don't know which is which. I really got to get this one working. I've got the, you can see it, here's the, it's the blue, but it's actually bright yellow or bright orange. And I just realized by touching it that it is not grounded. That shocked me. So that could be why it's not working, is somehow maybe the extension cord I'm using, it's actually got some power running through there. Wow. I should probably unplug that. That was really weird. Yeah, the Titans are great. Okay, let me see if I can change the mic. This orange one, that was really weird. It definitely had power running through the mic into my hand. Okay. All right, so it's either this camera, which is camera 1, or the playfield camera, which is camera 2. So I don't know if you guys can tell based on where I'm standing nearby or close. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Oh, it's camera 1 back here, okay. Maybe I'll switch it over to the playfield one if this is too quiet. I guess they have pretty good microphones on there. Oh. Oh yeah, if you had it cranked up, it's probably pretty loud now if it's a different mic. We'll see if the one that's right above for the playfield, I bet if those mics were on, it would be just way too loud because then it'd be reflecting off the glass directly. And 2 extra balls lit too. Really, it sounds the same. I don't know. Let me. So that was the D&D mic. I'm tapping on the playfield mic, and then I'll go over here to camera 1. So if I'm standing really close to the camera, does it pick up any better over here? I wonder if it actually switched it. Whoa, there. Whoa. Okay. Alright, so this is. Alright, I don't know which one it is. I switched it and I disabled all the mics, and it should only be coming out of one of these Logitech cameras. So I don't know. That feedback was pretty loud, so I'm guessing it's the one over the playfield here. So yeah, it should be the one right up here. We'll see if it works. If it's ridiculous, let me know, and I'll keep an eye on the chat here. Yeah, that was ball 3, 2 extra balls. Didn't get either one of them. Alright, actually, you know what? I can just turn my phone up. Oh yeah, it sounds really hollow. It's really weird. It's certainly coming off of this one, because that's a really hollow sound. I forgot I could just listen on my phone. I should plug in my headphones. Certainly coming off of this one, because that's a really hollow sound. I forgot I could just listen on my phone. I should plug in my headphones. Alright, I don't know. I made some changes. I don't know if it's actually any different. So camera 1, and then camera 2 is right over the top. I'm listening to my phone to see if I can figure it out. Yeah, it's got to be camera 1. I don't hear any different. Alright. Well, let's play one more game as it is, and because it's almost 2 o'clock here, I think I'm probably going to wrap it up for the night. But I'm going to mess around with the other microphone, that one that shocked me, and see if it's my extension cord is bad or what. Wow. So that was unique. It diverted and went right over the visor. Alright, there we go. Another ramp value. Didn't catch how much that was, but I've never tried to do any live stream with any games before, just off a console or anything. So, and I actually don't use my computer for gaming much. Although I'll be changing that because I got in on that Oculus Rift pre-order. So I'm trying to make sure everything's ready when the Rift shows up. So I'm sure I'll be streaming some VR stuff too once that happens. Especially with GTA 5. I've seen some other people playing that with the Rift, and it seems like it's pretty awesome. Yeah, this is Xspin. I haven't tried the OBS yet. I like Xspin, but I guess I've got another week or so to try it on the trial period, and I have to decide if I want to pay for it or not. So I might try the other one too. Oh, yeah. Fail on the live catch. Oh. I would lose it. Seems like it favors that outline. The posts are actually opened up quite a bit, so with that rubber on the center post, it just kind of hits and designed to steal your quarters, for sure. All right, well maybe that's the end for tonight. It's after 2 now, so thanks everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the help for everybody. I'm gonna come back over here and probably close her down for the night, but yeah, thanks for everybody who followed and sticking out with me here and checking out the stream. I see Carmelicious followed. Thank you. I don't know if you can still hear me over at my desk, but I'm going to go ahead and probably close her down for the night. Yeah, thanks for everybody who followed and sticking out with me here, checking out the stream. I see Carmelicious followed. You can still hear me over at my desk. All right, well, thanks again, everybody. And we'll catch you later. I'll be streaming again. So if you enjoyed it, thanks again. Please follow, and we'll catch you later.